On to another basketball topic. Wow, I was really surprised. So I'm going to answer my question in my opening here. I was shocked when I read that UConn coach Dan Hurley is going all the way from Storrs, Connecticut to LA, California to have a meeting with Vice President of Basketball Rob Pelinka and owner Jeannie Buss to discuss being the next Lakers head coach. He is a two-time back-to-back NCAA national championship coach, including a record 12 straight double-digit victories. Wrap your head around that real quick, Jimmy. And has a top 5 team returning next season. He did let the school know that he's going to interview for the job. So this isn't rumor or innuendo. This is legit.
Mhm.
Are you shocked to hear Dan Hurley to the Lakers rumors? And more importantly, do you think he should take the job?
Initially, I was shocked to hear that, but then I remembered that he is a two-time back-to-back national champion in the NCAA as a coach. So, that puts it in perspective. I mean, if you're going to look for top coaches at a high level, why not? The guys that are coming out of college, playing at a high level, and he has clearly got these guys' ears, and he got these guys believing in his philosophy and what he's preaching, and they're going out and executing, and he's giving them the power to do so, and they're winning games by double digits. 12 games by double digits is crazy. That's just, that's in line for like all-time greats, not just because you're back to back, but just the way that they won those games. And yes, it is somewhat shocking, but I remember 25, 30, or maybe over 30 years ago that when uh, uh, college coaches won or had some success in the NCAAs and then ended up getting coaching jobs. Rick Pitino ended up at Boston.
That's right.
Uh, and there's
Larry,
other,
Larry
others.
Brown. Larry
Yep,
Brown's
Derek
a very
Brown from
famous.
LSU. Um, I
There's
mean
been
Larry
some that
Brown.
haven't worked out. What was the guy with the slick back hair from Florida? Billy
Yeah,
Donovan.
Billy Donovan. But again, and so just from the history of that, yeah, I can see why the Lakers tapped Dan Hurley to, or at least for an interview. And Rob Pelinka, my ex teammate, Fab Five teammate, he
How did I
know he
not
did.
know
I,
that?
yeah, Rob played with Rob, and this is what most people don't understand
I,
about
I didn't
Rob.
know this.
Rob played on the 1989 national uh, team, national
Okay.
championship team. He
So
was
he
on
was
that
one of
team.
the veterans on the Fab Five team.
He was a veteran on our team. Yep, he was a senior, and even then, he was always thinking the game. He was very intelligent, smart.
That's awesome.
So him bringing in Hurley, I know he's done his
Hold
homework.
on, Jimmy. Before you continue, I'm going to challenge you on the air. Now is probably not a great time, but you got to get Rob Palenka on the King and Chapman show. And it's
Deal.
not, and I don't want to talk about Dan Hurley. I want to talk about 1990 freshman Jimmy King. That's
He'll
what I
give you
want to
some
talk
story.
about Rob Palenka with.
You know what's crazy? Rob is gonna tell you what I told you. He's gonna tell you what I told you. I'm the man. I'm the man.
I think that would be awesome. If we could ever swing that, that would be a very fun
We're
conversation, I'm
working on
sure.
that. Hold on, let me write that down. Rob, GM Lakers. We got him. We got to get him on here. We got another guy too that that's close. He was actually a coach on the team, but he's a former GM for the Knicks. Scott Perry. We could tap
Dude,
him too because
it's
he,
amazing, Jimmy, how many great
Yeah,
players, coaches were part of that team. I mean, everyone knows the obvious names, right? But the fact that it's so deep
mhm,
really does speak to what was built there, right? And
absolutely.
how great that was. Now, this isn't about the University of Michigan 1991. This is about Dan Hurley. Do you think, Jimmy, that your boy Rob Pelinka should hire Dan? Do you think that he can be successful at the NBA level?
Absolutely, I do. I do think he could be successful. I think he has the temperament for it. I think the biggest thing that I look for um, is one is the philosophy. I think that he has the knowledge to play the pro style game. Um, the wherewithal to go through that gauntlet. 82 games, long season, dealing with men, not boys, or not, men becoming or boys becoming men. Um, and I think that he's tough enough, right? Like you got guys that come into the pros who are pushovers. They don't necessarily have the type of personality that will fit in a professional locker room. So the message will get muddled, or the message will then not be heard the way that it should. It's kind of like the transition of like Caitlin Clark. Caitlin is just so fresh out of college. She still doesn't know how to play the pro game
That's right.
yet. She's still doing well. She's still going to be successful, but you have to give her time. And it's the same with coming into the league, even on the coaching level. I think Dan has what it takes to be successful. And the biggest thing that I could point to for him is his moxie. It's his uh, how he presents himself. Even he's feisty. I've seen him yell at the fans. I've seen him go after fans in the stands. He's my type of guy, and that's something that in the NBA that guys are going to be willing to get behind if he chooses to take the job.
Well, I definitely think that whenever you have, and we talked about this, Jimmy, with Jim Harbaugh, right? And that
Hmm.
situation with him going to the NFL. I think that when you're a coach at that level, right, you either, and I said this about Harbaugh, you either want to be a college coach and you'll do that for your
Hmm.
career because that's your true
Hmm.
passion, or you really, really, really deep down in your heart and soul are a pro guy and
Yeah,
college is something that's kind of part of the journey or that you find yourself really good at.
right.
And so,
Rarely you get
honestly,
the two.
if I were friends with Dan Hurley, what I would say to him is, and he probably knows this, is what are you, Dan? Do you really, really, really
Hmm.
love the pro game and that's a
Hmm.
journey that you've always wanted to be on? Or are you content and happy and you've reached the pinnacle in college? Because if you don't, I'm telling you, Jim Harbaugh didn't want to be a college coach. I mean, he can do it, and he did
Right.
fine at Stanford and at Michigan. I mean, he won national championship, right?
Hmm.
So obviously,
Hmm.
he's a great coach, and he did it for his alma mater. But he's a pro guy, and he wanted to be a pro coach. That's it. That's who he is. That was his dream when he was a kid. He wanted to do that, right? What does Dan Hurley want? I
Correct.
don't know the answer to that question, but I
He may
suspect
want it, and he
if
may
he
want it.
doesn't, if
He
he
may
doesn't,
feel
he should
he may
stay right
feel like
there in
he wants
Utah.
it. He may feel like he wants it, but when you get into that mix,
Yeah.
it's a whole different ballgame. I'll give you an
I
example.
I guess what hold
John
on real quick,
Beeline,
Jimmy.
I'll give you an
I
example. John Beeline was doing great at the University of Michigan, and he chose to make the jump to the Cleveland Cavaliers. He didn't make it through the season.
yeah.
He resigned halfway through the season. It's because, like, his person, in my opinion, his personality of coaching guys in the league didn't fit. So that's why he, recognized that, and he was like, you know what, I'm out. Like I'll
Yeah, but I
gracefully
think, Jimmy,
bow
I
out.
guess what I'm saying is it's like inside you when you're laying at bed in the morning or when you were a kid, you have dreams.
And
Dreaming
that's
of
what I
being
was
an
getting
NBA
at.
head coach. I don't think Jim Beeline dreamed of
But,
being an
but,
NBA head
but this
coach.
is what I'm saying. I think over time, right, it start to creep in. Like, you know what?
I could
Maybe I
do
could
it.
check. Maybe I could.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could do this too
Or
at
your
that
agent
level.
tells
Like
you your
I'm
agent.
putting guys into the league. I got
Yeah.
guys going through my program getting drafted as lottery picks. Yeah, I could coach these guys,
Yeah. Or you
but
got
it's a
your agent.
different ball game.
Yeah, or you got your agent telling you, "Come on, dude, I know you like the college game, but yeah, just go give this a try for a couple of years. If you don't like it, you can just come right back." Right?
Yeah,
That's what
don't
I
make that
mean.
mistake and listen to your agent.
No,
The agent
that
works for you.
but that's what I'm saying, Jimmy, is that's where Dan Hurley needs to sit. For me, I would pray about it and I would
Yeah,
really think about
absolutely.
what do I want to do, because he is actually in a really, really great situation, a
He is.
situation
He
where
just
he could
resigned.
stay until he was old and decrepit, right? He could be, yeah, I can't think of one of those guys that just
John Thompson.
yeah, John Thompson just stayed forever, or what was the Notre Dame? Lou Holtz,
Lou
right? He
Holt.
could just stay forever. Joe Paterno, but minus
Benny
the stuff.
Crum.
Yeah, he could stay there forever if he wanted. So I think he really needs to consider: am I a pro coach, and is this what I want to do, or am I just going to do this to try this? If that's the case, I would say don't do it. Stay where you are.